Okay, I'll talk a little bit, a lot about the butterfly garden at Overlook. There were a lot of stewards on this project. Drury University, the USDA Forest Service, Cornell University. They did a lot of research on the project. Joplin Parks and Recreation again. The TKF Foundation was a major funder of this project. Walmart Foundation, they helped rebuild Cunningham Park. Forest Relief of Missouri, Great River Associates, the CART, which is the Citizen Advisory Recovery Team, Master Gardeners of Joplin, and numerous local volunteers. On this slide, you can see this was our planting day organized by John Skinner. He is recently retired, but he was the urban forester for the Missouri Department of Conservation. We have middle school students or high school students. Getting people involved from the local community showed a lot of support for the project and the rebuilding of Cunningham Park and the Butterfly Garden in Overlook. This slide shows the master plan of Cunningham Park, locating both the volunteer tribute that Traci just talked about and the location of the Butterfly Garden. Originally, that land was part of the neighborhood surrounding the park. The 3 homes that were destroyed after the tornado, which you can see on the right, was acquired by Joplin Parks and Rec, and that became the site of the Butterfly Garden in Overlook. That project, I'll talk about how important it is to immerse in nature for healing for the residents and also for visitors. Warden's 4 phases of grieving, the 4 TKF elements, and we'll talk about the house frames where we're recalling those houses that were destroyed after the tornado through the frames of these houses. And you can also see those airplane windows, the iconic airplane windows that Traci talked about that were lost in the Carl Owens home. Talk about the water wall, the butterfly pavilion, and storyboard. Each TKF project, that is the organization that builds a network of urban places created to reduce stress and helps to improve health and strengthen communities. We coupled the 4 elements of those parks with Warden's 4 processes of grief. William Warden is a psychologist who developed these 4 processes of how to kind of overcome grief. And so the portal is the place that you enter the garden and you begin to accept the reality of the loss. The path is a place where people can start processing the pain of grief. And then destinations such as this butterfly pavilion, which recalled those butterfly stories that the children told. There is a bench and a place to sit and reflect, and that helps to create a world without what was lost. And then the sensor surround with the frames of the houses, as well as a circular butterfly garden that encompasses the site. That helps create the healing of people within nature. The next slide is the bench and a journal. This gentleman is looking at the waterproof journal, and he's one of the journal entries is also shown on the page. And I'd like to read another one of these from Fritzy Kidder. Thank you to all the Joplin volunteers that have spent countless hours helping Joplin. You have helped renew our spirits in more ways than words could ever express. And thank you for this beautiful garden. It is the perfect spot for healing and reflection. So we have, to date, accumulated 29 journals and just numerous entries in each one of those journals. The 38-minute water wall is a transforming concrete wall with water that washes across the face of it, and it represents the 38 minutes that the tornado was on the ground. And at minute 7, at 5:41 p.m., the tornado hit Cunningham Park and the Joplin Hospital. And there's a cutout in that wall, and we remember that time that it hit that place. What's really important in doing this type of work is to gather survivor quotes, stories of the survivors, acts of heroism, and to archive these and These appear in some of our water features and the storyboards, and they're really impactful, and they give the community a sense of pride and a sense of history. And so now we'll go to the lessons learned. Regreening as soon as possible really helps the community heal. The Joplin Parks and Rec Director, Chris Cotton, had said that 6 months after the disaster, he saw a family picnicking in the park after, it had not been regreened yet, but he knew that everything would be okay when he saw that happening. Collaborating with local partners and volunteers is really important. We had our Girl Scout troop from Springfield help collect some of those shards, and there are numerous partners who are enthusiastic to help with the efforts of rebuilding. Listening and being inclusive to all who want to share their stories is really important. Collecting, archiving those stories, and actually reproducing them publicly can be a great source of pride. So telling the history and kind of remembering the event and really what happened is so important to the community.